Welcome, my smut sluts, to another episode of Beth's Naughty Reads. I'm your host, Beth Lamontagne, and I hope you guys are ready to get naughty as we talk about Meghan Quinn's Bridesmaid by Chance, which is the third book in her series of the Bridesmaids for Hire. Fuck, Greg, can you put the picture up? Maybe. Thank you. This is, like I said, the third book in the series that just came out this past April. It looked exciting and interesting, so I figured I would just give it a read so that I could share with you guys. Before we get into the book, let me give you guys a friendly reminder to please follow me on all the socials. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok under Beth's Naughty Reads. Also, if you would, please take a moment to click that thumbs up button and also hit the subscribe button so you get notified of any episodes as they come out. Also, take a moment to give me a quick review. That will really help me grow the podcast, which I would really appreciate. So, Meghan Quinn is a New York Times, USA Today, and Amazon's best-selling author. She writes super spicy rom-coms. Her books have heart and humor and spice. They're fun, they're funny, but they still have a really great plot line in it that helps you fall in love with her characters and makes the book difficult to put down. I follow on Instagram. I started following her recently on Instagram, and it's fun to see as I get to know her on Instagram how she actually weaves her personality and characteristics into her books. You can tell that she has a lot of fun, therefore her books are a lot of fun. And before we get into the review of Bridesmaid by Chance, Greg, can you play that video for me? Put these on so
you guys, I released a book and it's called Bridesmaid by Chance. It's a marriage of convenience, age gap, boss assistant, brother's best friend rom-com. It has all the alpha vibes that you're looking for, and it also is enemies to lovers. So you get a lot of that tension and a lot of the, she's pressing his buttons and he's about to crack. And when he finally does, let's just say there's a hand necklace involved. She also finds a seat on his face and some dressing room, terrace, balcony shenanigans. Not to mention the banter. Not that I want to pat myself on the back, but good job, me.
Real quick.
Yeah.
What's a hand necklace?
Think about it.
Is that a pearl necklace?
That's a pearl necklace.
Oh my God. All right. I'm learning things as
you're learning. So you guys can tell she's a lot of fun. She does these kind of promos for her books, and it makes them really interesting. It makes you want to read the book. And so that really drew me to this book. So again, it's Bridesmaid by Chance. The two main characters, so the male main character is Hudson Hopper. We meet Hudson actually in the second book of the series, Bridesmaid Undercover, which the main character is his brother, but he plays a large role in that book as well. He's reserved and very particular billionaire. He's righting the wrongs. He feels like he has to right the wrongs of his father. So in book 2 of the Hopper brothers, you learn Dad is kind of a scumbag. He does whatever it takes to get the business. Doesn't matter who he cuts off at the knees. And Hudson has made it his life mission to be nothing like his father, which really limits the enjoyment he gets out of life, limits his ability to relax, and limits his ability to just go through life with eyes wide open, looking for the good things in his life. The main female character is Sloane Galloway. She's a 22-year-old recent college graduate who is struggling as she looks for a job, trying to figure out what she wants to do, how she wants to do it. And Hudson hires her as a favor to her brother, who is his best friend, his business partner, and his brother-in-law. So he really kind of decides he's going to take Sloane under his wing and kind of show her the way of the business world. Well, when she first gets this job, she is very reserved, quiet, trying to really do a good job, be opposite who she actually is in real life, because we come to find out that she is really quick-witted and feisty. She's really feisty. She also turns out to be a really big smartass without filters. So she really is learning how to rein in those filters, so she doesn't say what immediately comes to her mind. The storyline it's interesting because there's a couple storylines that converge into the big overall plot. So one is Sloane trying to figure out what she wants to do with her life. She doesn't know if business world is where she wants to be, but she figures she'd make some good dollars while she's doing it. Hudson is trying to close business with a new partner. So since he's separated from his dad, the businesses, he is working on several different things. And one of those is making low income housing across the pond. So he's really trying to build this partnership with a gentleman that comes in as kind of like a side character. Come to find out that this guy's father-in-law is friends with his dad, and his dad has been bad mouthing him. So he's not sure he wants to do business with him. So Hudson's main goal is to figure out how he can change this relationship with this gentleman. In the process of doing that, you find out that the friend is getting married and the bride's best maid has broken her leg and is unable to attend the wedding. So she's a bridesmaid short, hence the bridesmaid by chance. Hudson volunteers Sloane. Much to her chagrin, she doesn't understand what's happening. She's a little frustrated because this is going to take 2 or 3 weeks out of her life as she has to travel to London to do this. So she takes it hard. She goes to his office and she just lets those words fly without filters, and he ends up firing her. She goes home. She comes up with this crazy plan and comes back the next day saying she refuses to recognize the firing and she has a business proposition for him. And that business proposition, as she gets down on one knee, is to marry her because he needs to be able to he needs to be married to be able to make contact with this guy at a social club in London. So it really kind of takes flight from there. You can instantly see the attraction between the two of them, like with their side thoughts. You see that both of them are very attracted to each other. She's willing to explore it. Like, she obviously fantasizes about him and he just shuts it down because it's wrong, right? Admitting that he's got feelings for her turns him into his dad, and that's the last thing he wants. So from the beginning, Hudson fights their attraction to each other. And then when it finally breaks down, it kind of, how do I say this? Because it's really spicy, but it still takes him forever to finally touch her. I've got some quotes. Some of them are a little long, but I just wanted, it gives a really good insight into the book. So my initial scene is Sloane's initial thought on Hudson. It's really funny. So she says, sheesh, there's not an ounce of personality in that man, which is weird because Hudson was a different man at Jude and Hazley's wedding. He was more carefree. He joked around. He played games with the family and he smiled. But this guy, Mr. Business, Sir Tightwad, Lord Stick Up His Ass, is all sorts of boring. So you can kind of see her inner monologue. She has no filters. That's kind of what you begin to deal with this whole book. Like I mentioned, she gets angry with him as he volunteers her as a bridesmaid. So she finally is done holding her tongue. And she says, after I spent countless hours, and this is her talking to him, after I've spent countless hours sitting at my desk, staring into your office, wondering all the ways I could help ease the tremendous amount of tension you carry on a daily basis. Sitting on your face is always the solution I come up with. She's kind of in shock after that, like, oh my God, did I really say that to him? Hopefully he didn't catch it. But it's really funny because that's when her sexual attraction to him starts to unravel.
Spicy.
So this next scene, I'll give you a little insight. So he has taken her to England. He wants to get her etiquette classes because they are doing a old Bridgerton type style wedding. And so he wants to make sure that she has all the knowledge she needs from an etiquette perspective. But he accidentally signs them up for BDSM etiquette class, where when they ask who the dom is, Sloane automatically raises her hand and making Hudson the submissive, which he's not happy about. It's embarrassing for him, all the things that he has to go through all this in class, and he's finally at his wit's end. They are shopping at Harrods of all places, and he's cracked. So he's tired of letting her get away with everything. And so this is his reminder to her who's in charge. On your knees. What? Sloane said. On your knees. A shiver races up my spine as my body gets sucked in by his command. I lower to my knees in front of him, waiting. Then he says, hands on my thighs. I slide my hands over his thighs and scoot in a little bit more. He lifts his hand to my cheek and runs his thumb under just one eye and says, submit to me. So this is the reminder to her that he's the boss. She must submit to him. As his wife, She must submit to him. So that kind of is like she gets all hot and bothered, and he kind of just leaves her hanging, kind of as retribution for what she put him through in that BDSM class. This is where it starts to unravel a little bit. So I'm just going to read a couple scenes about the spice. So this is one of the nights where she finally starts to break him down a little bit. They're in the bed and she's begging him to touch her. So he reaches over me and tugs on the drawer of the nightstand. What are you doing? He moves back to his position and then hands me my vibrator. Where their gaze connected in a deep, growly voice, he said, fuck yourself. What? I ask. You heard me. Fuck yourself. When I don't move, he adds, now. Shaky, but also fucking turned on by being ordered around, I move the vibrator between my legs. It's like I almost couldn't say vibrator. I move the vibrator between my legs and turn it on, letting the vibrations buzz through me and relax my entire body. I whisper as my eyes shut and I sink into the mattress. Hudson's hand finds my stomach, and again, he glides up under my shirt. And when I think he's about to touch my breasts, he doesn't. He slides his forearm between my breast right before his hand clamps around my neck. God, yes. I love everything about the way he's commanding me, controlling me. His large palm presses down on my throat, owning me. His lips lower to my ear as he says, I might not be able to fuck you, and I might not be able to experience your mouth, but I sure as fuck am going to experience you lying here and listening to you come. Oh, for Klimt. That thing, the part that kills me is the hand around her throat. I mean, if that's not just showing her who's boss and also telling her what to do, it's super spicy. Same scene, a little bit further along. She is begging him, I want your cock. Give me your cock. No, he snaps, but you will have my cum. He sits up, pulls his cock out of his briefs, his long, thick cock that's pulsing for attention, and starts stroking himself. He sits on his knees, hovering over me as one hand returns to my neck and the other pleasures himself. That's it? You fucking filthy girl. Fuck yourself. Let me hear you finish. Fuck, I gasp. Touch me. No, touch yourself. And that's the scene with the pearl necklace. Or as, what did she call it? A hand necklace. And this is just like the tip of the iceberg for their sexual interactions at this point. But I thought those were kind of important so that you can see some of the spice before it even gets even spicier. So I will share with you guys a couple things that some of the readers are saying. Tasia Arho Roper says, laugh out loud funny and just the right amount of spice. Meghan Quinn, I so appreciate you. She easily one of my top 3 favorite authors, maybe even number 1 if I ever sat down and made a spreadsheet, but who has time for doing that when she keeps dropping bangers like this. Bridesmaid by Chance has everything I love about her books. The awkward, the hilarious situations that give you secondhand embarrassment in the most best possible way, lovable, flawed characters, and a storyline that somehow manages to be both emotionally impactful and completely unhinged in moments. I don't know how she comes up with half of this stuff, but I'm so glad she does. Also, JB says, Bridesmaid by Chance is Meghan Quinn's 3rd book in the Bridesmaid series. This was one of my anticipated reads of 2025, and it did not disappoint. There's something about Meghan Quinn's rom-com that draw me into the world. They're spicy and hilarious and full of love. I listen to all her books on audiobook as I read, and if you haven't listened to her catalog on audio, correct this error immediately. The narrators are always perfectly cast in each of her stories, and there's not one book that I'm not outwardly laughing at as I listen. So I would say on a spice scale, I give this a 5 out of 5, even though it's a rom-com, which tend to be not quite as spicy. This one's pretty fucking spicy, and I was there for it. I absolutely loved it. Like I said, the scenes above are just tip of the iceberg. Definitely a summer read, and at minimum, if it's not a summer read, it needs to go on your to-be read list. I would actually recommend all 3 books as they're all pretty spicy and fun. Next episode, I'm reading a spicy romantasy by Jade Presley. Stay tuned to my social pages so you can see what I'm reading and read along if you want to. And one last side note, I know the last, oh my gosh, what do you call those things? The last, what the reader said in the last one about the audiobooks. I had never, Thank you. Review. Holy shnikes. I have not done audiobook before, and I just recently, as like yesterday afternoon, on Audible, did a dynamic Audible for Akatar, the first book. And I tell you what, I'm only an hour in, and I cannot wait to continue listening to it. So if you haven't done it, take it from somebody who's just doing it for the first time. Do yourself a favor. Doesn't matter how many times you've read the book. I've already read that book, like the series, twice. It actually makes listening to it like a movie without pictures so much fun. So if you haven't done that, do yourself a favor and check that out. As of everything else, that's it for tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed this show. Again, give me a thumbs up and some feedback, and I will see you guys in a week. Thanks so much.